Oh my god, dude.
I'm done. Oh, I'm sorry. I just died. I can't breathe. Steve, I swear to you, I haven't laughed that hard in like 10 years.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, no.
Armageddon. Armageddon.
Armageddon.
What I'm thinking.
I'm a dumb nerd. Guess right after high school, ended up joining the army.
You guys seem way more chill than that intro. I'm ready to take your fucking country back. I don't even live there.
You do not apply your brake to merge.
Dude, we should get a boxing match going.
Smack the shit out of
Balls to the head. That sounded wrong. I had to highlight that one. Oh, my Lord.
and stay the hell out of the left lane if you're not passing it.
You're so salty about this driving.
You don't have to have a massive channel to make an impact, you know?
I've learned a very important lesson through this video. Is to always keep your gerbil on a leash.
My dad was at the show, and I looked at my dad, and I'm like, fuck, do I drop the wheelchair jokes? He's like, just fuck them.
You know, that's what the whole freedom of speech is.
Then this old lady walks in with like a walker, and I look at him, and he goes, oh yeah, you're fucked.
You don't have to agree with it, absolutely not. But you best defend their right to do it.
Again.
It turns out she got hit by a drunk driver, and that's why she was in a wheelchair. And I opened my set about a whole bit about how drinking and driving rules.
You know, if they don't like it, then they don't have to be there.
It's a great way to just exercise your rights, because we got to teach these government nerds that all swear an oath to it what our freedoms are, because they're so lazy they don't care.
I had a fun night. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
To have a place for everyone to go to where they can just forget about life for a little bit and have fun. And
You know, don't live on the past, or don't take the present for granted and only think about the future. You got to just have fun with life before it can't be fun anymore.
good or bad, everything happens for a reason.
People are wearing blinders. They don't understand what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, I'm guilty of fighting my constitutional right. Absolutely. Every day.
Y'all take it easy. Love y'all. See y'all on the next one.
You know, you're never going to please everyone. Not everyone's ever going to like you. And just say what you want to say and fuck them all.
Much love to y'all. Stay prayed up, man. God is good. Love each other and be kind.
Much love, much aloha, and most importantly, God bless. Aloha, everybody.
Hey, what's
What's
up,
up,
bro?
dude?
What's up?
What's
Steve?
happening? So I just got a message during that awesome intro.
That
It
was
took me
awesome.
3 weeks to make, but I just got a message from our guest. He's running late. He said before midnight, so he's on East Coast time. So he'll be here within 20 minutes. So that gives us time to say aloha to all these awesome people. Rome 13, my brother JS Urban Adventures,
Much love,
Cheryl
man.
Rich, aloha, hugs, kisses, and roses, Cheryl. Neil Han Dynasty, aloha.
Yeah, prayers going out to Cheryl Rich and family.
Oh, did I miss something?
Something's going on, but I didn't ask specifics. But yeah,
Oh,
there's a
yeah,
little
prayer.
post floating around.
Yeah, JS. I'm going to quote this from a movie, but I just thought it was fun. It's funny. This is what you get in the Bender residence for spilling paint in the garage.
Let's see. So did Mo hit you back?
No, Adam did. Adam did. He's
Okay, cool.
he said to be here before midnight. Creek Squad.
In the
Yeah,
house.
JS Urban Guy at Breakfast Club. Oh yeah.
So what's been going on this week, Mr. Steve?
A whole bunch of shit. But I stay positive.
You know, the weather's still good there, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had I think it was the other day through Oklahoma, we had at least I was over 100 tornadoes, and some places got hit with like EF4s twice in a row, flattened towns. It's just crazy. This lady hid behind a Pepsi machine and lived. The whole building's gone, but the Pepsi machine didn't get touched. This is bizarre. They said one of the tornadoes was going backwards. It's been a crazy week.
You know what's crazy to me is earlier backstage we were talking about, you were talking about that channel that, and I was like, wait, were they chasing a tornado? Because I never watched that kind of stuff, and I just happened to have been watching that today, and you were watching it too. It's just weird how they. Oh, real quick, hold on, I got to do this. Emotional damage. What's up, Garrett? Red Pill, Truth Uncensored, Aloha. But yeah, that's weird, right? Like, never watched channels like that or anything, and then you're watching it. I happened to have been watching it at the same time, had no idea. That's weird how that shit works out.
Not sure why that works unless there's little ears in our phones that are trying to put us all in the same box or something. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But like I was telling you, those guys over there had over 200 memberships. I won't say the channel, but they had 200 memberships and I think 11 minutes on that channel. That's how much people liked weather and tornado phenomenon.
Well, I mean, that's why I started watching that, because it was very. Hey, Richard Price, aloha. It's that's this is exactly what I was thinking too when I was watching. I was like, screw that, you guys are crazy, man. I'd rather just go skydiving. But for them to be chasing a tornado, like if they get caught up in that, see ya. Like, well, they will end up being skydiving, but without a parachute. You know.
Exactly. Oh, so I've been sick all week, 5 days in a row. Some sort of like lung bug or some crap, coughing and burning eyes. I don't know anybody else been doing this. Sinuses. Worked all week like that.
Yeah.
Still trying to get all my workload done. Just like
I had I was on Creek's live stream last night, man, and I was all excited to sing a song. And like 5 minutes before it was my turn, I just out of nowhere, dude, I just started like sneezing. My eyes were watery. I couldn't breathe, and I'm like, "You kidding?" So, needless to say, I got like no sleep last night because I could not breathe through my nose, and it was like a runny faucet.
Sounds like you ran into like a really bad fart. Like instant
Really bad what?
fart. Yeah, like instant eye burning, choking.
Yeah, it is. I know it's no okay. It's a contact. It's a contact. I'll probably take it out in a little bit. I forgot I had it in, but after a couple hours, it starts to bother my eyes, so I'll probably take it out in a little bit. But bionic eye, yeah, it gives me superpowers.
New James Bond, James Harloha.
James Harloha, I like it.
Right. Stay away from the women's though. They're always spies. They always try to kill you.
So our guest tonight has his own YouTube channel, which I have his link pinned at the top. And he'll be here in a few minutes, but I'm just going to play a short 2-minute clip just to give everyone a little bit of an idea of who Adam is and what he's about. And then hopefully he'll be here before the 2 minutes is up. We'll see.
I didn't hear you. Say that again. You got veterans sleeping in the street. Yeah. You got veterans sleeping in the street, and you're taking care of illegal immigrants.
Yeah. Well, that's their new voter base. They're going to get them. They're going to legalize them.
That's what they think.
Yeah. They're going to try to legalize them all.
They're going to lose.
Come on. You take care of yours first.
Yeah. That's how you
Always.
America
we
first.
Got our priorities completely backwards.
Yep.
Exactly.
Got our priorities backwards.
You ever think you'd live in America where we had wide open borders? Come on in, whoever you are, didn't matter.
This is what we're up against. So don't go back. Don't tell me about the 20s. Both my parents, immigrants, they came here. They didn't commit crimes.
Right.
They didn't murder people. They came here and they built America. The Irish, the Italians, they did it the right way. Nobody said you're not welcome in this country if you do it the right way.
That's right.
There's a wrong and a right in life.
Well, the
in
lefties,
everything.
the lefties accuse us of being against immigrants.
We're not.
We're not.
We're not. Just do it the correct way.
Do it legal.
Vet them.
We don't
need
know
to
what's coming through
We
the
need to
border.
know. Are
You don't
these
know,
people
is there
murderers?
fentanyl? What's coming? You don't know these people from. Come on.
Yeah.
So,
Well said, sir.
you know, I mean, 82 years old. He doesn't know whose hand to shake. Russia, China, they look at him and they go,
He falls down all the time.
It looks like Mike Myers.
I don't know what to say anymore. You know, I really don't know what to say.
Would you consider the Biden admin to be a disgrace?
And his son, they talk about Trump the crook. In the meantime, look what his son.
Oh, I got another question for you. So tomorrow's Easter. It's a very
Happy Easter to everybody. Happy Passover.
happy Easter and Passover. It's a high holiday for a lot of Christian people.
Absolutely.
Joe Biden just named March 31st Transgender Day of Visibility.
Nothing better to do.
What do you think about him doing that on the same day as Easter? Was that on purpose?
It's despicable. That's not the time to do it. Of all the days, that's the day you choose.
Right. You should have picked April 1st.
Exactly.
Well, you know, this is nothing new with him.
Right.
This is a constant. It's just, it's embarrassing.
Mind-blowing.
It's pandering to the community to get votes.
It is, and that's why they're leaving these borders open, because they know if they get in, they're going to vote for him. Yeah, I mean, you got to be a moron not to know this,
Yeah.
but we have a lot of morons.
Well, they
in
get all
country,
these extra
so
electoral
you have to
votes,
look at that too. We
Yeah.
got a lot of
I know,
morons.
exactly.
Not electoral
You
votes.
know, I think George Carlin
They
said
get
it years
congressional
ago.
seats. Yeah.
George
Yeah.
Carlin said it years ago. If you have a population of stupid people, there's a chance you're going to have a stupid leader.
Right.
You know, and he was right. Here, 30 years later.
Takes one to know one.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
in
Thank
the
you, sir.
meantime, have a great
God bless
holiday
you. Happy holidays.
and
Happy
happy
Easter.
holiday, happy Easter,
Bye.
and
Aloha, Adam.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you, brother? Nice to finally meet you, man. I've been subscribed to you for at least 5 years now, 4 years.
Wow, it's a long time. You're one of my early subscribers then.
Yeah. I used to do what you do back in like 2019, 2020.
Oh, you did street content?
Not really so much content. Well, that was right when I was starting to begin my channel. So I
Cool.
really wasn't recording it, but I was involved with a lot of flag waving and getting people together, and
Awesome.
How you
it's
doing,
definitely
Adam?
a fun hobby to do, and it's a hobby with a purpose. So I enjoy
Right.
it.
Oh man, I love that. I love that hat, man. I gotta
No
Oh, there you
kidding.
go. Hell
gotta
yeah,
join you.
that's awesome.
How you doing, Adam?
Hey, I'm good. It's
Dave's
Dave,
not
right?
here, man. Yeah, it's Dave.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet
Yeah,
you,
but
man.
he's not here though, so
I'm never here.
Dave's not here.
Cognitively absent.
Where are you guys located?
I'm in Detroit.
I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, along with Dave. We've known each other since we were like 9, but I moved
Oh wow,
to Oahu, Hawaii 15 years ago.
it's amazing.
So I'm living it up, and I'm living the dream, like they say in Hawaii.
Living in gangster's paradise in Hawaii.
Right.
That's awesome.
So what about you, man? You want to tell all the viewers that are here a little bit about you and what your channel's about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hey guys, my name's Adam Francisco. I do street commentary. I call it, I guess. I go out, I interview people on the street. Sometimes I'll do reaction videos, but most of my content is going to be flag waves and street interviews. Also, it includes like the interactions we get. We get either triggered liberals or we get Republicans that agree with kind of our message. And both sides give me really good content to share with my audiences. So you'll be able to find that content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X. I have not been banned yet anywhere. So I'm going to keep riding this train, hopefully until Trump comes back in this election. And that's the main goal, is really just to get Trump reelected and just restore some common sense back to this country.
Really, to me, there's no choice in that. It's like we either have another 4. I don't even think he's going to make it another 4 years. But if we do, how embarrassing, man.
Well, we have to, just so you know, Steve, I'm very aware of the YouTube guidelines. So if this chat was a year ago, I would not be saying what I'm about to say. But YouTube did revise their guidelines, so we're allowed to actually talk about 2020 election now.
Right.
2020 was rigged and stolen. I'm going to go to my grave believing that, and there's really no way to prove it otherwise to me at this point. I mean, we saw so many oddities in that election. I left the bar at 12:30 thinking that Trump won, celebrating with my friends. And when I got home and I woke up the next day with a bit of a hangover and I saw Biden was up in all the six swing states, I was just like, what the hell just happened? I'm not going to say that it was a red mirage because I don't think that's true. There were a lot of mysterious things that happened in terms of like the mathematics of ballot dumps. So the only reason why I'm bringing that up is, while I do think that Trump has to win, I do think he will win. We've seen what the Democrats are capable of in an election, and they will try to rig it. They will try to steal it. They're doing it now through the court system right in front of our faces. And if Trump actually pulls off the popular vote victory and the electoral college victory, what are they going to do at that point? What can they do at that point? And that makes me fearful of the Democrats. So that's one. Just throw that out there.
I think my biggest gripe lately is that we're sending billions and billions of dollars to every other country to defend themselves, but yet we will not address the gaping hole in our border. That is the biggest. I believe that's going to be the biggest thing in this vote. Is going to be that border, and like all these things that are happening in the colleges everywhere, these massive protests. This wouldn't be happening if we had a president that actually knew how to lead.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people in this country, you have different levels. I would say like people like us are more informed because we kind of are absorbed by politics. We do it, we do live streams about it. So I'd say we're more involved. And then you have the Democrats, the flip side of us, the involved people, but they trust the media. And then there's the other group, which are like the independents, the moderates, or then there's a fourth group, I guess, which is the uninformed. And the uninformed, a lot of them thought that the chaos was caused by Trump. They really believed, and even the Democrats too, they really believed that if Trump was gone, things would go back to normal in this country and in the world. And instead, the opposite's happened. There's chaos in the world. There's chaos on the border. There's chaos in our economy. There's chaos with everything: inflation, housing market, gas prices, you name it.
Well, and not according to Biden, though. According to Biden, it's never been better.
Right, I heard him today.
We can talk about that in a minute. But my point is, we're seeing all this chaos under Biden. The chaos, I would say, has gotten worse. It seems like there's no one in control right now. And it's crazy now that if you said this 4 years ago, people are actually voting for Trump now to return to normal. Isn't that freaking crazy? That they're going to vote for Trump to go back to the way things were.
Right.
That's the most shocking thing to me about this whole thing. Because their entire messaging was, get rid of Trump, we're going to have decency again. We've had the opposite.
I was telling Steve,
men in the women's bathrooms literally signed into bill Title IX by Joe Biden.
Actually, you just reminded me because I did have a couple of people email and text me yesterday because they knew that you were going to be on today, and so what you just said just reminded me of one of the questions that one of the viewers had. This is from JS Urban Adventures. Shout out to JS. Which one did you just say? Oh yeah, what is your response to the LGBTXYZWXRSP support? Like as far as when you're out on the street and interviewing people and just walking up to random people, I mean, do you get that where, it's do you ever get like a Trump supporter that's like, oh, I support the alphabet and I support Trump, or are they just supporting Trump because they just want their lives back?
Yeah, I would say that 90% of LGBT support Biden. If not, they're not going to vote for Trump. Like there's the Trump haters and the Democrats. 90% of LGBT fall in that camp. But 10% of gay in the community do support Trump. And as a matter of fact, the video that I did last Sunday, which I haven't uploaded yet, that's going to go live tomorrow on my channel. I interviewed a black woman who stands with Trump, and she was with a flaming gay man. He wasn't just gay; he was flaming gay.
Right. Very obvious, right?
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Just so you know, I'm not saying that.
Right. No, absolutely.
Very flamboyant. And he was a Trump supporter. He was a Trump supporter. And there's also now a subset of the LGBTQ community that wants to break apart from the trans. They want to push trans out of the LGBT community because they feel like being transgender is not the same as your sexuality. They're very different things. And the trans people have kind of rode the coattails of all of the work done by the LGBT community. So I do meet a lot of gay and lesbian and bisexual Trump supporters. I don't really see that many trans people, surprisingly. But actually, in this video, I think that's going live tomorrow, there is a trans person in it. And I asked them if they think men should be allowed to use the women's bathroom. And they didn't respond to me. They ignored me because it was a man. It was a trans woman. I didn't realize when I was talking to them, but when they walked away, I looked at the dimensions of the body and I was like, that's not a female.
And that person ignoring the question pretty much gave you the answer anyway, right?
Yeah, they didn't even look up at me. They just completely power walked me. And they power walk pretty fast because they're a dude. So,
got them big calves.
Yeah, I mean, this person was, I'm going to tell you this person was way bigger than I was. Probably 6'1", hips the size of a tree trunk, and no curves. There was no hip to waist ratio. It was just it was just like a tree trunk.
So you're saying he was the alpha?
Yeah, he was. He seemed to be pretty alpha.
Okay.
I'm like, hold on, my dog is misbehaving right now. I think he's foraging. What are you doing? Okay, he's fine. I saw someone in the comments said that they have the same chair as me. Was that
This actually JS Urban Adventures. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a great chair. I got it on Amazon. I actually do not use my chair a lot. I hardly ever sit here. But when I do podcasts lately, I've been sitting in my gamer chair. I like it. It's a pretty good deal from Amazon.
Steve, highlight JS. I can't highlight it. His comment there.
Oh, I got you. This one.
Yeah,
Trump supporters who turn on Trump because he waved a pride flag hired more LGBT people than any president, and Melania's recent video supporting them is what I was talking. Oh shoot, I misunderstood your question then too, JS. My bad. So that's what he meant.
So here's the thing about that. If you want to leave the question up, you could just leave it on the screen. Yeah,
okay.
just so I can react to it. All right. Thank you, JS Urban Adventures. Appreciate your question. So here's my thing about the whole thing that you're talking about. So I used to be a Democrat, and
that was one of my questions. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I used to be a Democrat, and I used to go to pride parades, and I used to dress up in rainbow everything. I had rainbow socks, rainbow shorts, rainbow tank top. I wore the
shit.
Yeah, bro. I have to go to my personal Facebook. You'll find photos of me at the pride parade, and you'll see me being an ally. And when I did that, it was like, I think the last time I went was like the last time I went as an ally was like 2017, I want to say. And back then, the pride parades were not like they are today. They were getting there, but they weren't like full nudity and full porn like you'll see today.
Right.
I never had a problem with the gay community ever, because as a New Yorker from New York City, as a Democrat, that's just like the normal scene, right? Like a lot of my clients were gay, a lot of my clients were lesbians. I never cared, and I still don't care if an adult wants to sleep with like same sex. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. So the thing about being on the Republican side now is there is the evangelicals and the hardcore conservatives that are always going to be against LGBTQ. But if you look at actual polling data, the majority of Republicans accept things like marriage equality today. So in that one topic, the Republican Party has gone a lot more left than you might assume on the surface. So I think that Trump embracing the LGBT vote is a good thing, but we have to make it clear that even if we support LGBTQ adults, we don't support activist teachers being perverts with their kids. We don't support the trans ideology being taught to our kids. We don't support pornography in elementary schools. There's still a lot of lines in the sand that we can defend on while still supporting people in the community. Because my thing is, if you're an adult, I don't really care whose dick you're sucking. Like, I really don't care if you're an adult and that's what you want to do when you're home, right? You're both adults, have fun, go nuts in the privacy of your home. I really don't care. And I think most Republicans feel the way I do, and that's what polling data kind of shows. So good on Trump. It's a good talking point that we have.
Right on. It's weird because that was that. Well, first I'm kind of blown away that, but then again, my whole life, and I might as well get this out there right in the get go. But my whole life I was Democrat because I was told I was. I was never into politics. I was like, I remember being like a teenager, as in like 13, 14 years old. I'm like, Dad, what are we? He's like, we're Democrat. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm a Democrat. Didn't know. And then 2015 rolled around, and then then Trump became president, and then I kind of started paying attention, and I'm like, I'm not a Democrat. I mean, I have beliefs that the Democrats have, a few, and then I got hardcore into the Trump thing, and then after 2020, we all know what happened there. I kind of changed my beliefs again, so I don't. Now I'm just an open book. I'm not, like I always say, it doesn't matter if you're left or right, red or blue. The government doesn't give a fuck about you. That's just my saying. So I'm not Democrat or Republican because I have beliefs that the Democrats have. I have beliefs. I guess I'm more of a libertarian, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my views are libertarian. People sometimes call me conservative. I'm like, whatever.
Right.
But I'm not religious. So I don't really call myself a conservative. I call myself more of like, what's it called? Disaffected liberal. Is that what they call us? Is that what they call us? Like a libertarian, which is kind of what you are. I find myself more in that camp.
Right.
Definitely evolved a lot in the past couple of years trying to figure out my identity. But people call me conservative. I don't mind. People call me libertarian. I don't mind. I fall somewhere in those camps.
But yeah, but what it comes down to, me and Dave were talking about this earlier. But when it comes down to it, I mean, I don't vote anymore. But if I was forced to vote, obviously I'm going to vote for Trump, right? I mean, 2016 to 2020 were really good years of my career and everything.
For all of us.
And I'm sure there's hundreds of millions of other people that would say the same thing.
Let me tell you something. So I'll give you a little more background about me on a personal note. I was a high income earner from 2011 to 2015. So I was making the same amount of money as like surgeons were making, but I was working in the advertising industry in New York City. So my job was selling advertising space on mobile devices to advertisers. So for example, let's say you're playing a mobile game, right? If that mobile game company was one of our partners, you might see an ad within that game. That could have been my company who sold that ad space to AT&T, Samsung, Verizon, FDA, any brand, Procter & Gamble, you name it. And so I made a lot of money in that industry. 2016, I kind of realized that I was drinking too much alcohol because I was probably out with clients 5-6 nights a week, entertaining them, whining and dining, which is how I made the money that I made. And I tried to re-enter the workforce in 2017. But once you take a break for a year, it's really hard to get the mindset back to work again. So I hit a crossroads in my life where it was, do I force myself to go back to work where I'm not in that mindset anymore? Or do I move to a cheap country so that I can have a very high quality of life at a very low cost of living? So I decided to pack up my bags and move to Thailand, where, let me tell you something.
I remember that.
Wow.
I remember that. I remember you talking about that. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I talk about it a lot because it was the highlight of my life, without a question. It was the smartest move I ever made. So I ended up living in Thailand for a year and a half before COVID hit, and I left because of COVID. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see one of my first political videos was about COVID. I posted it January 5th, 2020. So the U.S. wasn't even talking about COVID until March. And I was ringing the alarm from Thailand, trying to tell all my friends, guys, something big's about to happen. The world's about to shut down. The economy's about to crash. You guys have no idea what's happening. I'm leaving Thailand because this is the #1 country that Chinese people visit. I don't want to be, next to ground zero. So I'm going to leave before the lockdowns happen. And then everything kind of happened as I thought it would, as I called out. But the reason why I bring this up was the only reason why my entire plan worked. It wasn't just because Thailand was cheap. It's also because the stock market was on fire from 2017 to 2019, right? You could throw your money at anything in the stock market, at any crypto coin, and you were making money. So what I would do in Thailand is every month I would just sell a little bit of stock so that I could continue my lifestyle. And for a year and a half, I was living in Thailand, pulling money out of my stocks and my crypto at the time, and I was still getting richer. So even though I was getting massages 2-3 hours a day, because they're only $6 an hour there for a massage.
Wow.
I was a liberal guy, so when I lived in Thailand, my views on sex, I didn't care. Casual sex was very common for me. Let's just put that out there.
Right. Okay.
I don't behave the way I used to. Plus, I'm an adult now, so I want to be a little more mature. But I was basically going on dates with a different woman every other day to fancy restaurants. And by the way, when I say fancy, I was spending like $30 a meal for both of us, because that's how cheap Thailand is.
Wow.
So fancy restaurants, massages every day, living on the beach, going to the beach every day, different, different girls, dating girls all across the country as I drove around, and, rental vehicles, getting richer, not even working a day, not even working an hour, just living the dream. And that was all possible because of the Trump economy. The only reason why I could live that way with peace of mind was the Trump economy.
Yep.
Nowadays, under the Biden economy, well, first of all, I'm disabled, so I can't work right now full time. I don't make the money I used to at all. I make a fraction of what I used to make. But even if I wanted to do that, I would not be getting richer by living off the stock market. It's not happening right now.
Yep.
We're all struggling. Unless you're like an elitist, then you're unaffected by all this stuff. But yeah, man, it's just I miss the Trump economy. I think most of us do, and I think Trump's going to win the election. And a big reason is going to be the Trump economy.
Imagine if you had invested in Bitcoin back then. I think I looked today. One Bitcoin's worth $59,000.
You did?
No, I did not. I never had.
Didn't.
I never had any Bitcoin.
59 grand is what it's worth going for today.
That's crazy.
But towards the end of what you were saying, that was actually one of my other questions for because you said you're disabled, and I was watching a video of yours the other day, and this blew my mind. That I mean, wow, God bless you, man, because you said 11 hours a day you're on a machine.
Yeah, 11 hours every night. To be fair, most of it's while I'm sleeping. So, even though it is a lot of time on the machine, a lot of it is while I'm sleeping. And the machine's actually behind me. You can see it right there. See that machine?
Okay. Yep.
That is my
dialysis.
Yeah, that's my dialysis machine. I do it at home 11 hours every night. But the reason why it's really a pain in the ass is, so before COVID hit, I was living out of hotels and Airbnbs for about 3 years. I got rid of all my earthly possessions, with the exception of my comic book collection. I have a massive comic book collection, which is amazing, which I want to pass down to my kids one day. But I was living out of hotels and Airbnbs for about 3 years before COVID. And then when COVID hit, I moved back to the US, and I continued to live out of Airbnbs and hotels for 2 years. So I was a very spontaneous man. I can go wherever I wanted. And I would either book for the week, the month, or for the night. And I lived out of a suitcase with my 2 dogs and my car. When I was international, I just lived out of my suitcase and my 2 dogs. So I'm a very spontaneous guy. My natural state is to be a complete nomad. I love the idea of never knowing where I'm going to wake up the next day. That to me is like the greatest feeling in the world. That's like real freedom, right?
Absolutely.
So the problem with this machine dialysis is that I have to be here every night. So the reason why I've taken myself out of the dating world for the most part is because when I was single and dating women, I was spontaneous as hell. I was the kind of guy that would go on a first date with the girl. If we had a great time, our second date would be in Mexico or the Caribbean. I'd be like, yeah, let's just fucking pack up and go somewhere. And that's the kind of lifestyle I really enjoyed living. But when you're on dialysis, you can't do that anymore, right? Like I can't sleep out anymore. I have to be here all the time. So it's really just frustrating. It's completely changed my life. I've been forced to pay rent while I'm dealing with this because my health insurance company, my hospitals, they all need to see that you live somewhere. To be eligible for a transplant, they need to see stability. They need to see that you have
Really?
Yes. If I were to live my lifestyle, I couldn't do this treatment.
That doesn't make sense. So it doesn't matter about your life, period. It just matters about your lifestyle. That's kind of ass backwards,
They
right?
need to see that you are in a position that you can handle the transplant, because the way they see it is transplants, the organs are so hard to come by. They want to give it to someone that they feel is responsible, stable, and will take care of it.
Okay, I got you.
So if they have to choose between someone who's living around the world versus someone who has a property, a studio in the neighborhood, pays rent, they're going to choose what's traditional.
Right.
They're going to choose the more traditional lifestyle. So I've been forced to kind of just like stay in place for the past year and a half. It's been here in Florida, which is not the worst place to be. But when you live in Thailand, there's nowhere in the US that's going to make you happy. Like in a way, I've ruined my life by living where people honeymoon, living where people retire. By living in Thailand, I fucked up my life because everywhere in the US is so pedestrian and average now compared to Thailand's, or even Vietnam, or even Cambodia, or even, anywhere in Southeast Asia.
Yep. I had a buddy that did what you did actually, and because he got a divorce, his wife left him, and he sold his house and everything he had and moved to the Philippines. And he's still there to this day, but he's rich, with American money, but he wouldn't be rich here, but he's rich in the Philippines.
Just so you know, the average Filipino person makes about $20 US a day. $20 US per day.
What's funny is I should know more about all this because my wife is Filipino, but I've never been to the Philippines.
Yeah, you should go there, man. It's like Hawaii, but 10% of the price.
Don't go there, Steve. Stay married, man. Stay married. If you go,
I go with my wife. I go with Nina to her motherland,
Okay. Yeah.
So I plan on moving back as soon as I get my transplant and I have a clean bill of health again, which should be happening soon. The doctors told me, since I'm pretty high on the list at this point. I plan on recovering, getting stable again, and moving back to Asia with the intention of looking for a wife and a baby mama. And the key is you don't move back to the US with these women. You have to stay in Philippines because it's easy to fake being wealthy out there. But if you bring it back to the US, you expose where you actually really fall in the, socioeconomic category. So to me, if I was making the money I made when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, sure, come back to the US. We can stay at the Ritz-Carlton whenever you want. But given that I don't make that money anymore, and I don't know if I ever will again, I'm going to stay in the Philippines where I can at least pretend to be rich on the day-to-day.
Right.
You could fake it. You could fake it.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
That's right.
But there was one more question. I know let me see. I think I started.
I know the question that you missed.
From JS. He's also wondering what you thought when they asked about warp speed and the first step at I'm still 100% pro-Trump, just wondering about people who have turned away from him. I think JS is going at me of that. I didn't turn away from him. I just think that both sides are evil. But all right, go ahead. You can answer it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way I see it is if Hillary Clinton was in office, let's say, well, first of all, we got to back up a little bit. And I got to be careful of the things I say here because COVID's still a topic that YouTube does censor you on. My theory is that I still believe it was man-made. I believe it came from a lab. Now, the only question I have, was it leaked on purpose or was it leaked accidentally? That's the part that like no one really knows the answer to. But let's pretend that it was leaked accidentally. Let's pretend they had no intentions of leaking this on purpose. If Hillary Clinton was president, let's say, right, that was their plan to have Hillary as president, and let's say she was overseeing the pandemic, I really do believe something like Operation Warp Speed never would have happened. Which means, fast forward to 2024, we'd still be locked down, at least in the blue cities and states right now. The country would still be in COVID lockdowns. The world would still be in COVID chaos. I really do believe this. And we would still be 5 to 10 years away from a vaccine right now, because typical vaccine timelines are 8 to 10 years with all the trials and all the paperwork and everything. So Trump cutting through all the paperwork gave us an excuse to reopen back up. So I will always give Trump credit for that. I will also give Trump credit for never mandating the vaccine. Trump also, he also dropped a lot of hints on his, if you watched him speaking during the pandemic, he did mention a lot of alternative treatments, which I don't want to mention on YouTube right now, but we know what those are. And one of them is often called a horse drug, which we know it's not. Hey,
right.
So yeah, I give Trump a lot of credit for cutting through the paperwork and not mandating the vaccine. I do think if Hillary was in office, we would have never had a warp speed, and we would have had mandates when the vaccine was ready, which Joe Biden, as you guys know, did mandate the vaccine for any company with 100 or more employees.
Yeah. How many people? Yeah. And I can't argue that at all, because I agree with you 100%. That's yeah. I mean, look how many people lost their jobs because they refused to be a guinea pig.
Yeah.
And then they wondered why there was a shortage of nurses, police officers, and everything else after they bunked all these people.
And he also, you guys say something, guys, like he wasn't in the lab designing these medical things. He wasn't in the lab doing it. You know, he had to trust a lot of these pharmaceutical bureaucrats who've been there for 50, 40, 60 years. A lot of these people that are in our government, even in the pharmaceutical side of our government, they've been in there 50 years. Like, these people are the deep state. So when Trump, he doesn't know what the hell's going on. He knows who these people are. And he can't just come in his first term and start firing everybody. You know, now on his second term, I think he should. I think he should come in and fire everybody and say, we're going to gut everything from the top down, and we're going to restart this, and we're going to start from scratch, because these people were not elected, and yet they control our lives. So that's what I think really happened. I think Trump was lied to. I think the farm execs saw big dollar signs that they could make. And of course, people like Pelosi, they're not going to get in the way, because they all became multi-millionaires. Buying
Imagine if there was no pandemic, guys. I mean,
you don't become a multi-millionaire by making 150 grand a year, you know?
So they're all in on it. There was really nobody to like support us and defend us against these evil people inside. There was no one that was going to step up and have our backs. And so Trump tried to give us enough information that we could at least defend ourselves, so that on a personal level, you could say, no. Trump allowed us that choice. Biden tried to take the choice away from us. So I give Trump all the credit in the world. I'm thankful that we had Trump during the pandemic. I actually wish that he was authoritarian, and I wish that he mandated that the blue states opened up, because all those lockdowns that lasted for 2 years, that's the reason why we have a lot of this inflation. That's the reason why our economy's a mess, why supply chain got messed up. That's a huge reason. And I really think that the Democrats knew that. They said, we're going to use COVID to destroy Trump's economy, so that way when we get Biden in through the rig, we can then claim all those jobs that return are economic job growth. We can now take credit for all of the comeback that was already underway while Trump was president.
Because I seen all that coming too when he was president. That it's like, yeah, we both seen it. Basically, that's their game plan. And the sad part is how many people believe it, like still to this day. Because I mean, I'm a plumber and I go to different people's houses every day, and it's amazing to me that people like they truly believe like all this stuff, and it's like turn CNN off, man. It's
They'll
not
fight
telling
you
you
over
the
it.
truth.
They'll fight you over that stuff, man.
Mhm.
People are so passionate about this topic.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is that really bothers me is like the economy right now, not just on a personal level, but like the White House is trying to push out the messaging that it's working, right? That the economy's good, and they point to like job data. But when you talk to the average American's struggling. So if you go to one of my last videos, it was during a pro-Palestine, when Joe Biden was in Tampa. I went to a pro-Palestine, anti-Biden rally, and I went up to one of the Biden voters. This woman is actually, there were three groups. There was the pro-Hamas, anti-Biden. There was pro-Trump, anti-Biden, and then there was the pro-Biden. So three different groups. I went up to one of the pro-Biden people, and she's like, "Oh, our economy's doing so well under Joe Biden." And I said to her, "Who says that?" And she says, "The White House tells us that." And I said, "All right, so the White House is telling us the economy's good, but every American that isn't rich is telling us it's bad. So which one is it? Is it good or is it bad?" And she didn't know how to answer the question.
Right.
Because I was like, I would rather take the word of my fellow Americans than the marketing team of the White House, because they're supposed to say that everything's good and dandy and everything's going well. That's their job.
Right.
But we're the ones that are actually living with the consequences on the ground.
Just go to the grocery store. You'll see what really
that's
happened.
what I was gonna say. How do you go, like when I go to Sam's Club or Costco to shop or whatever, and then Biden's saying that the economy's never been better, but everything I'm buying, I'm like, wow, 3 years ago this was half that price.
$7
How is
mayonnaise.
it better? And it being twice as much, and him saying, "Oh, it's only 6% more or whatever." It's like, no, that's like 100% more. It's
my coffee
twice
right
as
here.
much.
My coffee when Trump was president during COVID, I used to go to Wawa and buy this coffee. Wawa coffee's pretty good, by the way, and it was about $3 under Donald Trump. This coffee was $3 under Donald Trump. Today, I went to Wawa, $4.49 for the same exact drink. Same exact drink. So that's literally 50% more. That's $1.50 more than $3. It's 50%. And it's not just coffee that's 50% higher. It's
hey, like I said, I'm a plumber and I own my own business, and I mean it's just me. But I have all my and then I had to raise my prices. I'm not making more money. But they're like, "Well, you were just here 2 years ago and did the same thing in my other bathroom, and it was this much." I'm like, "That was 2 years ago." I'm like, the cost of the parts, the cost of gas for me to get here and back, the cost of maintenance, the cost of running a business, everything goes up. So the price, I'm not making more money. I'm not like, "Hey, I'm making twice as much as that." I'm actually making less than I used to make, even though I'm charging more than I used to charge.
Earn more. What is it called? What is it called? Work harder, earn less.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got my car detailed in I think late 2020, and it was a mobile detailer. It came to my house where I was living in Orlando, and the guy told me it was like $200 at the time. I was like, damn, that seems like a lot. $200 to get a mobile detailer for your car. I was like, that's a bit much, but I paid him. Obviously, I tipped 20%, so it was like, what was that, $240? Yeah, $240 came out to. I tried to get my car mobile detailed this year in Tampa. They wanted $350.
I was just gonna guess too. I was gonna guess $350.
So that's think crazy. About that. $350 plus 20% tip is going to be like $425 within 3 years, from $240 to $425. That's almost 90% increase in rate.
And I can almost guarantee you that the difference between the 200 and the 350 is 90% part materials, equipment that he has to buy to, like the detailing stuff, the wax and all that. It's probably he's probably making the same amount, but charging that much more.
What's funny to me? A lot of people say that whoever is the current president, the economy is the previous president's policies. So a lot of people say, this is what the Democrats say, oh, the Trump economy, that was actually Obama's economy. And that the Biden economy today that you hate so much, that's actually Trump's economy. So let's say, theoretically, they're correct. Let's just say. So now Biden's in office. We got this shitty economy going on right now. It's Trump's economy. If Joe Biden's policies are working right now, let's say in the long term they're going to work, and Trump wins, let's say. So when Trump comes back for his second term, let's say our economy is good again. The Democrats are going to be like, "Oh, that's Biden's economy, not Trump's."
Right. Oh yeah. Yep.
That's what that's exactly what they're going to say.
That's crazy. I never even thought of that.
They're going to be, this is the result of the Inflation Reduction Act. You know, this is exactly what we were telling you was going to. I'm like, yeah, you guys are clowns. At some point, you have to take credit for what is happening in your economy. And with Joe Biden, it's very so. The one thing they like to talk about is spending, and a lot of times the Democrats will say that during Trump's economy, he pushed up the debt by like $8 trillion. That's true if you factor in COVID, which was bipartisan spending. If you actually take out COVID and only look at his first 3 years, Trump only built the national debt by, I think, like $2 trillion, which was actually really good relative to other presidents. If you remove COVID. So if you compare Trump's pre-COVID spending to Biden's post-COVID spending, Trump is killing Biden. He's destroying him. He spent a lot less. And Biden's just spending money. And the worst part is our tax dollars are going towards Israel, Ukraine, illegal immigrants. That's what it's going towards. Not even American citizens.
Yep.
So we're dealing
borders open. Borders open, guys.
We're dealing with inflation in the rest of the world.
So that kind of leads me to our one last question that JS Urban had. What's from like when you're out doing your content and making videos and interviewing people on the street, what's the biggest complaints you hear from Trump supporters? Like what's their big actual Trump supporters, but their complaints on Trump?
Oh, you know, that the number one complaint I get from people that are still Trump supporters, he needs to clean up his mouth a little bit. He needs to just speak less and be more thoughtful in the things he says.
That's true.
Which you know, I see both sides. You know, I think that it's nice getting raw honesty from a president. I mean, how many things did he get right? How many things did this man get right? Which I'm just always impressed by. But I will say that them keeping him in court has actually backfired because he's been so busy in court that he's not in the news lately. He's not in the news making crazy sound bites because he's been busy in court. So that's actually kept him relatively quiet. So it's been working in his favor. Being in court.
Have you seen his stock in Truth Social lately?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't buy any.
It's through the roof.
I know that it hit 70 and went down to in the late 20s, and now it's back up to in the 40s, I believe.
Yep.
I really do think that people see the stock as a way to donate towards the Trump campaign, because Trump is going to be able to sell his stock in, I believe, 5 months from now. So the goal is for we the people to keep the stock price elevated, so that when Trump can sell it in 5 months, he'll have a windfall. And I believe that's when the price will drop, if anything. Because right now, True Social does not make that much money. We all know that. But that stock is being used to support Donald Trump by the people.
Exactly.
It's being, what's it called? GameStopped. That's what it's being right now. Yeah. And you know what? If they're going to rig the system against Trump, then we the people have the right to rig a stock for Trump.
It's crazy out there.
Well, here's a question I have that this might be different beliefs or whatever, but what is your opinion on Trump's idea or what he wants to do with indemnifying the police? Basically, I mean, police already have qualified immunity, which causes a lot of chaos, but giving them indemnifying them is basically just saying, you know, just kind of like those troops were back in 1940s Germany. You know, it's kind of saying you can do whatever you want and you can't get in trouble for it. So abuse your power. That's the way I see it anyway. But what's your opinion on the
Well, I mean, look, I don't think that the police should be above the law in a lot of ways. They shouldn't. However, let's just pretend that he does actually do that, where police are above the law. Let's just pretend. I would imagine crime would go down. Because I would imagine people want to avoid police interaction at all costs.
right?
If you know that the police
Yeah.
do whatever they want and they can't get in trouble for it, then you're going to make sure that you clean up your act. You're going to stop on every red light. You're not going to drive drunk. You're not going to act like a fool in public. I think crime would plummet in this country if Trump were to do that. So that'd be the good news. The bad news is the police should not be above the law.
No.
So,
Right. And there's what I believe that the crime would plummet, but then it would still be the same because I believe the police would be the ones doing the crime.
I see
I
what
mean,
you're
look how
saying.
many innocent people are in prison already that, you know, it's like,
Yeah. No, I would be against him doing that. I don't think he would actually do that. You know, no matter what the left says about Trump, I really do believe that he does respect the Constitution. And I really do believe he is a believer in law and order and rights for the people. So I don't think he'd actually do that. I mean, I haven't seen the quote from his mouth. And so I really don't want to comment too much on it. I mean, he might have said that. I don't think he has. But the left will also twist his words into things that they're not. You know, a lot of times, like I'm on TikTok, I have a TikTok account, and that's really left wing in terms of the comments you get there. It's a very big left audience. And a lot of people are writing in my comments that Trump's going to deport me. And I'm just like, I'm a citizen. What are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But they really do believe that Trump is going to deport people based on skin color. And that's not the case at all. You know, that is not the case at all. Trump does not care about skin color. He has no issue with skin color. He just has an issue with your citizenship status. Are you legal or illegal?
right.
If you're white and illegal, get out of the country. If you're brown and illegal, get out of the country. He doesn't care. You know.
Absolutely.
I think the biggest threat to America right now is ignorance among the young people because they're pandering, like they're canceling all this debt, like all their school debt and all this. They're just trying to get votes, and these kids have no idea. And they're just, you see how they're like on all the campuses just trying to get into these kids' heads. It's so evil what they're doing. It's bizarre. It's like it's almost like grooming them to be a Democrat. Oh, Trump's bad. Conservatives hate gays. By the way, conservatives don't hate gays because I don't hate gays. I don't hate anybody. I love everyone. I treat them like anyone else.
Yeah, me too. I don't hate anybody based on their sexuality.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something, guys. I lived in Thailand, and I met a lot of trans women out there. But the difference is they don't play these games where they're like, I'm a woman. No, they're like, no, I'm a lady boy.
I was going to say lady boy. Yep. That's what they call them.
I never heard that before. Yeah.
They call themselves lady boys. They call themselves trans women. They call themselves katuis, which is the Thai word for lady boy. Katui. And, you know, they don't play those identity games where here in the U.S., you see somebody with a full beard and they're like, no, I'm a trans woman. I'm a woman. And I'm like, that's just
lipstick all over their face and just looking like an idiot.
Yeah, like somebody that looks like Steve saying they're a woman. It's like, come on, bro. Like a real man would have at least shaved.
Excuse me.
Like a real woman.
It's ma'am.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me some mustache kisses.
Yeah, exactly.
Ma'am.
So that's why, in a lot of ways, I prefer living in Thailand because the trans people there are relatively normal compared to the trans people here. Like they are literally like, I know what I am what I am, and I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. And if you want to call me a he, I don't care. Like you could call a trans woman in Thailand a he. They don't care.
Right.
They don't get offended. They're like whatever. Call them whatever you want.
And by the way, I'll use the bathroom anywhere. Like I don't care. Women's room, tree. You know, I don't know why it's such a big deal where the hell you go to the bathroom at. This got me boggled. Like Why is that such a big deal?
Well, it's not a big deal for most people. Like most people who use the bathroom are pretty normal.
Right.
But the thing is, there are a percentage of people that are weirdos in the world. And there are many examples on Twitter, you could find them, of people going into bathrooms and trying to film up, on the other side of the stall, for example. So that's where there become problems with a small percentage of people that are perverts and take advantage of the loose restrictions. So that's the real issue. I mean, you could make the argument that a man can do that in a men's room and a woman can do it in a woman's room. But for some reason, it's considered creepier when it's opposite sex doing it. So, I think the solution is unisex toilets, just like in concerts.
That's what we have at work.
Right.
I mean, that's the real solution, where you have single stalls with doors, and then you have the sinks in a common area, which I've seen actually a lot of progressive restaurants in New York do that, where men and women are washing their hands next to each other, but the individual toilets are behind doors. Like
that only happens at Planet Fitness.
Yeah, I'm actually a member of I'm debating if I want to go tonight to get a workout. I'm still debating. It's already like 1 a.m.
I want one of those massages you were talking about.
Oh, in Thailand, $6 massage?
Oh, man. 4 hours.
$6 an hour. Isn't that
cost,
crazy?
Man, it's crazy. It's less than a steak.
You don't even think about whether or not you want to splurge financially, right? That's the thing I loved about living in Thailand, is like, I never thought about money. Like, when you can live without thinking about money ever, you're living an entirely different lifestyle. Because here in the US, if you wanted a massage 7 days a week on the beach, let's say, that's going to cost you about $2,000 for 7 days in a row of 1 hour massage on the beach. That's about $2,000 because a beach massage by the hour is about $150 in the US because it's a premium experience, right? So most people can't afford that. So therefore, you're not going to do that. But in Thailand, you're not thinking about, should I or should I not treat myself to this hour massage on the beach? You just do.
Yep.
So your entire lifestyle, your stress level, your happiness, your relaxation is at an all-time high. And even something as simple as getting a fresh coconut, it costs $1 in Thailand versus $10 in Florida.
And that's why Joe Biden says the economy is doing so well, because he's above where he's thinking about money. He never worries about money.
That's exactly it.
He's not like us.
Someone who's like The Rock or LeBron James, they can live the Thai lifestyle in the US and it doesn't affect them at all because they're that wealthy. The prices that we pay today could double. Right now, gas could be $8 a gallon. It has no impact on LeBron James. It has no impact on Oprah Winfrey.
Right.
Their life,
absolutely, yep,
doesn't change.
I know someone that they literally. Well, I mean, I know them, but it's not like we hang out. But they literally just bought a castle in like a different country, like they just bought a used car or something. That's how they're like, oh yeah, by the way, check out my new castle I bought in. I forgot what country it was, but I'm like, I can't even imagine being able to say that.
The one thing I'll say, which is one of the good things about being sick, being chronically ill, is before I was chronically ill, there was always a small part of me that wanted those like things in life. I wanted the super nice car, maybe get a boat one day. You want those material possessions. Now, you know what I want more than anything?
Health.
I just want a kidney.
Health. Yep.
I just want a kidney. And when I get the kidney and I don't have to do dialysis anymore and I can travel again, I almost guarantee you I'm going to feel richer than the person who just bought the castle. Because I guarantee you bought the castle, that's pretty cool. But now they're going to want a bigger castle. Or they're going to want a second castle. I don't even want a fucking castle. I don't even want a studio apartment. I don't want this apartment. I want to go back to living out of hotels and Airbnbs and never knowing where I'm going to wake up. I want to be jacked again. I want to be spontaneous again. And when I have that access again, after losing it for the last year and a half, I'm going to feel like a fucking god. So it actually did change my mindset in terms of what's going to make me really complacent and happy.
And that's so true because I know people like that. And I guess I've always known this, but not really known it. But I would always, I know people that they're like, that's my goal to get to this point. And then once they get to that point, they already have another goal to get to another point. And it's like, you're not even enjoying the journey. You're not like, you just get there and then it's not good enough. Like you said, you got the castle. Now they want a bigger one.
Probably.
It's just, it's.
Now you need a yacht.
I'm gonna do a quick like 10-minute. I'm gonna let one of our viewers come up because she has a couple questions.
Sure.
This is Latina in Cali.
Hi, you guys. Are you able to hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we can hear you.
Hey, Adam Francisco. That's really cool
Hola,
that
señorita.
you got to go to like the Philippines and see what it's like. I know a doctor who took her husband to get a kidney transplant over there, and she said that as long as you have the money, you can get a kidney transplant whenever you want to, but it's like $30,000 in the Philippines.
Yeah, I've heard of that. People going abroad and overseas. Here's the thing, and first of all, do I trust the healthcare system of the Philippines more than the U.S.? The answer is no. The Philippines healthcare system might be good, but ultimately, I trust the U.S. healthcare system more. That's just my personal preference. Secondly, end-stage renal disease, which is what I have, is one of the few terminal illnesses that the U.S. does really good coverage for here, automatically. So as soon as somebody is on dialysis, Medicare and Medicaid kick in, full coverage, 100%. So I've actually spent nothing on this disease. I haven't spent a dime on drugs. I haven't spent a dime on treatment. I haven't spent a dime on hospital visits, and my transplant's going to be fully covered. So
Why?
While I could go
Why
to the
for you?
Philippines, say it again.
No. How is that possible that they're able to do everything for you for free?
It's one of the diseases that is covered by the U.S. government. So
okay,
anybody,
what is it called again?
It's just my disease is called end-stage renal disease, and when you're on dialysis, Medicare and Medicaid kick in automatically, so you automatically become eligible.
Sounds okay, but that's not like that doesn't like what is that diagnosis? So like what caused it? You know what I mean? That doesn't sound like there's like I know there's a couple of different diseases that they like say what caused the renal failure.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that you can get kidney failure. One of them is the number one way is actually diabetes. That's the number one cause of kidney failure. The second cause of kidney failure is what I have, which is hypertension, high blood pressure. So that's the root cause that caused my kidney failure. Then after that, there's a lot of other types of causes, such as drug use can cause kidney failure. There's some kind of diseases where your body attacks itself, like immuno problems, that can cause kidney failure as well. But mine was high blood pressure.
Yeah, that just sounds kind of crazy though. Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking over to you because my device sucks. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
There's a little bit of delay on my end. Like I'm getting you like slow, like I'm behind, Anyways, I really think that really sucks. Only some people that they'll only help some people because I know people who work and have kidney failure, but they can't get any help at all because they have a job. You know what I mean? Like in California.
Well, so they should be eligible for, they should be eligible for Medicare, Medicaid if they're on dialysis.
It's just
it's roboting.
Yeah, you're starting to robot.
Yeah, but from my understanding, anybody's eligible.
I'm sorry, you guys. My phone.
It's okay.
Just up. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
No worries.
But from my understanding, even if these people are working, they could still be eligible for Medicare and Medicaid if they're on dialysis. But if they are working, making income, they might require to have their own private insurance first and then Medicare and Medicaid as secondary. That might be the loophole for someone who has a job and is making above a certain threshold.
Especially if it's affecting their work and
Yeah,
not
because
able to work.
I'll be honest, most people that are on end stage renal disease, if like you're on dialysis, you have a really good reason not to be working full time anymore, because this disease takes a lot of time, and also you feel like shit a lot of the time. So you'd be calling in sick to work. Like I couldn't work a full time job right now. There's no way. It'd be impossible with the time commitment I have on the machine, and then how I feel half the time. It's just no way.
Right.
So if they are able to still work through that, good for them. But I don't think that they should feel entitled to have to work through that. If they need to quit their job due to medical reasons and then switch on to Medicare, Medicaid, who's going to blame you for
That's
that?
what it's there
You're
for.
dealing with a health crisis.
That's what it's
Yep.
there for. I mean, we're giving more to immigrants at the border, so illegals. I mean, so
Exactly.
why not take advantage of the system that gives you the care that we pay into?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of
Exactly.
people are surprised that I support universal not basic income, Jesus. I support universal health care in the U.S. That's one place I think our tax dollars should go. Not towards illegals, not towards Ukraine's border, but towards taking care of American citizens. That is one of the places where,
Right.
because I benefit from the system. And even before I benefited, when I was healthy, I still was a big believer in basic universal health care. If an American
Right.
citizen's sick or injured, we got to uplift them as much as we can as a society.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, everyone pays taxes, right? And although I truly believe none of we were all born and given a social security number and all that, and that's the contract we signed, saying that we're going to pay taxes, basically. So none of us really said, yeah, we want to be a part of that. We were born into it. But with that being said, I have no problem with them using that money to give it to Americans. But when all of that money is going to different countries, and we have homeless veterans, in the unaliving themselves rate every day, while all this money is going to different countries, it's like, no, like use our money for we the people. Right?
Oh man, I'm itching to say this. It's not even that they're giving our money to other countries. It's actually that they're losing money. They can't account for billions of dollars. We don't have receipts and tally sheets. We don't know if the weapons are actually getting where they're supposed to be, or they're being black market. So we have no idea. Where's the accountability? That's my thing.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. One of the ideas I had in my head, which I don't think will ever happen, but I think it's a pretty good solution to a lot of problems, is healthcare in the U.S. is extremely expensive. And a lot of it has to do with inflated hospital costs, right? So you go to the hospital, you need a Band-Aid, it's going to cost you $500. That's how much they're going to bill your insurance. So is a Band-Aid worth $500? No, we can all agree that's not the case. So like you just said, Dave, like there's no accountability. There's just people are taking advantage. So my solution would be to have a healthcare exchange program, right? Where you send a team of government officials to a hospital in Thailand to make sure that they're qualified and up to speed. And we send our patients here in the US to Thailand instead, or India, or Philippines, and we have them take care of our patients. So think about how much money that'll save the government, right? So for example, my dialysis treatment in the US, according to insurance, it's 6 figures a month, how much my insurance is getting billed to take care of my, kidney failure in terms of dialysis, medications, treatments, injections, all this stuff. But if I had the same exact care package in Thailand, it would probably cost about $10,000 a month. So why can't the U.S. buy me a one-way flight to Thailand for $1,000? Let Thailand take care of you for $10,000 a month, and you just save 90 grand. 90 grand just disappears like that. Why can't we do that?
We could.
Right.
And then what we could do is all these little socialists that want to, live in socialism, even though Thailand's not socialism, but these people that want to live somewhere else, that they hate America so much, send them to Thailand or Philippines or Colombia, whatever it is, and bring back the intellectuals that want to live in the U.S. and contribute. So find the highest performing college graduates from Thailand and say, we're going to do a transfer program. You'll take the people that hate the U.S. and we'll take in your intellectuals. There you go.
Yeah, and it's called networking.
That's so true though, because they could do that.
Yeah.
That's where where's the accountability, right?
Yeah. If you hate this country, go. Good luck. Go.
That's what's missing from the entire system is accountability.
I
That's
love
the whole
immigrants. I'm an
problem.
immigrant myself. I'm an immigrant. I came from Mexico as an immigrant. Here legally, by the way. But
Oh,
can you imagine? Can you imagine if we only brought in like intellectuals, like we went out and actually like searched for the immigrants that we wanted? Could you imagine we did that? We went to India and we said, oh, you're the top 5 medical students. Come on into the U.S. Love to have you.
Right.
Yeah, we just don't want drug dealers coming through the border.
Right.
And gang members and
heads, you know.
We should have the most impenetrable border in the world. Like we should have turrets, minefields, 100-foot walls. Like no one should even think about coming into the country. Right? And then we should go out and recruit immigrants that we want into the country. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, letting
do it
felons
legally. Do it legally.
Exactly.
And I can't speak for everyone, but I would bet money that 99.9% of we the people would say do it legally and we could care less. You know?
On the other side of that coin, I would say that a lot of immigrants are trying to get in this country. It takes a very long time, and we need to look at that and try to expedite that if these people are, you know, fully vetted, and maybe expedite some of that stuff.
Hey man, the way I see it, you ever try to get into the most popular club at midnight?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna wait in a line. The better the club, the longer the line.
Exactly.
But I do agree that we do need to expedite the process and find ways to speed it up. We can hear you.
Oh, yep.
Hey, I also heard like in 2015 on NPR News, there was a lady who was talking in California. Well, actually, I don't know if she was in California, but I was in California, and she was trying to pass legislation, I think, for California, trying to bring about more accountability for these organs that go missing for the transplants because they're disappearing and they don't know what's happening to them here in the United States. And I think it's part of the NWO, personally. I think they want people to be offed. And that's all I want to say. Oh, also, peritoneal dialysis is draining. I do know 2 people who work though, and we're doing it full time, working and doing the dialysis, but it cost them like their social life and strained on their family. You know what I mean? One of them actually did get a kidney transplant, and I think that was all it's gonna say. Oh yeah, can I have you shown us like people don't understand you're at risk for infection like every day because of that implant. Have you shown us your implant?
No, I haven't shown anybody.
It's really like it's like I think it's hard to look at because it's like an open wound, like constantly, you know.
Well, it's not.
And it's
not
like
like
do you notice like a difference when you're filled up? You know?
Yeah, so it's not like an open wound.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. What?
No, it's not an open wound. But basically, what it is there's a plug in that goes into my stomach. It's a like a catheter, and basically it's like a. I mean, I wear it on my necklace. So this is the tube. So I connect through the machine through this, and this is what goes into my stomach. There's a tube, but it's not an open wound. My body has healed around it. So if you looked at my stomach, you would just see a little tube coming out of my stomach, but you wouldn't see like a scab, a scar. It's literally just a tube coming through the skin, kind of like this. It's just a tube.
So it's like a plug.
Yeah, but the skin has healed around it. It's not bloody.
Yeah, but you can't go swimming. Like
I
you're
can
not
go
allowed
swimming.
to go swimming though with that because
No, I'm allowed to go swimming, but I can't go into a. I can't go into.
Infected.
So I can go swimming. I just can't go into a public pool. So I can go into the ocean, and I can go into a private pool that I know has been cleaned. They also told me that if I go to a public pool that really smells like chlorine, that's probably safe to go into as well, because the chlorine is killing a lot of the bacteria. But you just have to make sure that you take a shower afterwards. As long as this cap is on, there's no access inside.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I can go swimming. Now, in other countries in Europe, for example, the Europe health guidelines say you should never go swimming. Here in the US, our guidelines say that we can go swimming, but only in specific bodies of water.
Man, that's just crazy. I feel, man, like I said, God bless you, man. I have to do that every day. That's just like,
yeah, I had a close friend that was on for 4 hours a day, and I thought that was crazy. But
well, the thing is, there's two ways to do it. I mean, the other way is by doing it the 4 hours a day. There's a few differences with that one. First of all, to do it the 4 hours a day, they have to go through the heart, which they used to do for me. So for the first 2.5 months, they went through the heart. The problem is you can't shower when you're on that. So I didn't like that. I felt disgusting all the time.
Oh.
Second thing is, if this one gets infected, it goes right into your heart. So the chance of you dying fast is very, very high.
Yeah, I saw a video of you with that one, and I think you were in New York.
Yeah, that was probably 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
The other thing is, when you try to do all of the cleaning in 4 hours over 2 days, it takes a huge toll on your body. So a lot of times you end up crashing afterwards. So I would get the 4 hours of treatment, and afterwards I'd feel like, I can't even explain how I'd feel. I'd feel dizzy, lightheaded, exhausted, drained, fatigued. I'd have to go home and sleep for 8 hours right after. So that would come out to 12 hours anyway.
Might as well do it the long way. Yeah.
And this one's a lot more gentle, and I don't feel the same. I don't feel shitty when I get off of this, because it's going much slower over 11 hours. I also can control how much fluid I'm taking off. Like, if I drink too much, I can increase the strength of the fluid. If I drink way too much, I can add more time on the machine. So I don't have to just wait to get to treatment. Plus, I like having self-agency, self-control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's empowering to do it myself. You know, I don't like feeling like a victim. And when you have to go to the clinic, a lot of times you feel like a victim.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like being babied. I'm an adult. I can take care of myself. And also, here's the worst part. They don't like you having this in your heart. So what they'll do is they'll install something into your arm, which is called a fistula. And to do that, they have to do open arm surgery. They connect a vein to an artery inside your arm to improve blood flow. And what happens is, once you get that installed, you can't lift weights in that arm. So basically, I couldn't bench press anymore. I couldn't do bicep curls anymore. I would have to just completely stop lifting weights. So lifting weights is a big part of my lifestyle. So my doctor said to do PD, and as long as it keeps working, don't worry about doing the arm. They said, hopefully I can get a transplant before I'll ever need to get this.
It's very hard to give up your independence like that in any way.
I mean, I've already had to give up traveling. I've had to give up flying. I've had to give up spontaneity. I had to give up, just road trips. I've given up all that stuff already. No more alcohol.
Right.
No more alcohol till I get a transplant. I've given up nightlife.
Man.
So my entire life has changed.
Now you're making me feel bad because I'm sitting here drinking a beer. Shit.
I don't like beer anyway. I never liked beer, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I had a question for you. Do you have dual citizenship?
No. But I will when I marry into the Philippines or Vietnam, wherever I end up.
And Steve forgot to ask you a question that he asks every guest.
I ask everyone at the very beginning. It's the first thing I ask, and I forgot. And it has nothing to do with anything. But do you believe in ghosts, aliens, and or Bigfoot, or all three?
That's a good question. Ghosts, aliens, and Bigfoot. Aliens, yes. The universe is too big for us to be the only life form, because it's infinitely big, right? Therefore, there's infinitely possibilities. Therefore, other life forms is one of those possibilities. So yes. Bigfoot today, I'm unsure about that one, so I would say no. Aliens, yes. And ghosts, I'd have to lean towards yes. Some type of, either it's a universe on top of ours that somehow crosses over. That could exist, but there's
Like
definitely some kind of paranormal shit happening in this world that I've experienced myself. So I'm going to say yes to ghosts, yes to aliens, no to Bigfoot, which is weird because Bigfoot I'd feel like would be the most likely of all three, right? It's just like a
Right.
bigger version of an ape or a more humanoid ape. But I'm going to say no to that one and yes to the other two.
So when you say ghosts and overlap, do you mean like dimensional?
Yeah, like you know, like in Marvel, how there's like multiverse, there's different versions of Spider-Man.
Yes.
So there could be different versions of everything we're experiencing. Our dreams could be us peeking into the multiversal life of our counterpart. You know, that's one way. The Doctor Strange movie, actually, that's how they kind of said that your dreams that you have, are you actually seeing the multiversal version of yourselves, which I thought was interesting.
Right. Yeah, it is different. That's
Like
what
I've
I
actually
believe.
last couple of weeks, I've been having these very vivid dreams where the brakes in my cars don't work. I don't know
Ooh.
why it's been a recurring dream lately. And one of the other atoms in the multidimension, so me elsewhere, could be dealing with these issues where they're driving and their brakes fail.
Oh shit.
And I'm actually seeing it for the dream that when I'm in the dream, I'm seeing what they're going through right now. And
I have this reoccurring dream that I find money, and I have this huge duffel bag, and I'm just filling it up with money, and then I wake up and it's not there, and I'm pissed.
See, I would rather have that dream than my brakes are failing or my teeth are falling out.
Right.
Because those are my two common dreams.
Well, it's weird because I studied for a very short time because I was so interested in like psychology and dreams and how people think and how the brain works. And dreams, I actually stopped because it was like, whoa. But yeah, stuff like that, like your brakes going out. Like I'm trying to remember it. I mean, this is like 20 years ago. But
loss of
with
control,
brakes going
maybe.
out or stuff like that, it's
Loss of
something
control.
along. Yeah, like you're losing control of exactly.
Well, I mean, I do feel like that a lot of the time. I've lost control of my life because my body is, not doing what it's supposed to, and it's kind of put me in this position that I'm in. So, in that regard, I definitely feel like I've lost control because if I was healthy right now, I would probably, I'd be in the U.S. because the election, but as soon as I vote for Trump, I would leave the country and go back to Asia. That's my dream right now. My dream is to get a transplant soon, recover, vote for Donald Trump, and move back to Asia.
Just like that. In that order.
Yeah. So the brakes going out in your dreams is basically your subconscious saying you're stressed about it because you're not sure if that's going to happen or if it's like yeah.
I bet when I get a
I'm going
transplant,
way
I
off.
don't stop having those dreams because I'll be back in control again.
Right.
Yeah, that's the biggest wake-up call ever is when you sit back and realize that you never really were in control.
Yeah, I mean, look,
anything.
let me tell your audience one thing, and this is my advice to everybody watching: don't be fat. if you are overweight, even if it's just 20, 30 pounds, if you are morbidly obese, don't do that to yourself because let me tell you something. The doctors told me the only reason why my body was able to survive, because they told me I was days away from death when I got diagnosed. They said the only reason why my heart could handle the stress was because I lifted weights and I kept my heart in really good condition that way. I also always had pretty good body fat percentage. So if you're going to have a major organ fail, you want to make sure the rest of your body's in really good shape because you need to build a really strong house. Because my legs are fucked up right now, but I'm lucky that my legs started really strong. Because even though they're weaker now than they were, I'm still getting by because they were once very strong. I'm only 5'10", but I was able to dunk a basketball before I had kidney failure. So I was a very high jumper, high flyer. Now I can't jump for shit anymore. But the point is make sure you exercise, build muscle mass, keep body fat low, because if you're going to deal with any sickness, you want to have a good foundation. So that's my advice.
I have one question for you. When you're on the street and you're talking to people about this, do you run into aggressive people?
No one's been violent so far. I also have my dog with me, which people always give me shit in the comments. Don't bring your dog to do this. And part of me.
Those are like your kids, though. I mean, I have my dog. That's like my son.
Well, people don't understand that when I do my flag waves, I'm doing it while I'm also like taking my dogs out for a walk. So it's like I take my dogs for a walk and I'm spontaneously like, you know what? I think today's a good day for a flag wave. So it's like, to me, and plus I don't want to leave them home alone. I want them with me. I love my dogs so much.
Right.
So I'm not really worried about that. But no one has ever gotten violent on me.
That's good. That is really good.
Also, Florida, we have concealed carry here, and I don't conceal carry, but maybe people think I am, so they don't. People here are pretty polite because of that, I think.
Right. I think they overblow that in the media to freak everybody out. They take this little fringe element of assaults and all this stuff, and they put it on the news like it's reality for everyone, when it's just a small percentage.
That's why people got to turn the TV off, because where the least amount of crime is where you can conceal carry or carry, period. There's more crime,
Do you know which city has the least amount of crime? Which state?
I would say Texas.
I believe it's Maine, and that's one of the highest gun ownership countries for hunting.
Oh, okay.
But you know why it has the lowest crime rate? It also has the most white people. Shh.
Scratch that. We love you, YouTube.
No, but it's true though. The whitest state in the country also has the lowest homicide rate, while also having the highest gun ownership rate.
Wow.
Hey, Jalen.
Hey, Jalen. What's up?
It's not racist. And by the way, I'm Mexican. I'm Native American Mexican. So
right. Yeah. It's not racist.
I'm not white.
Speaking of this Saturday, I'll be the moderator for actually Jalen just popped in. Aloha and JS Urban are going to have a debate on does racism exist? So
it does, but not in the way you think.
Right. I like that answer. I like that. It does, but not the way you think. That's good.
Yeah. So the way I'll just give you my short answer. America is the least racist country in the world in terms of traditional racism, which is usually viewed as racism against non-white people, right? Blacks, Hispanics, Asians. We are the least racist against blacks and Hispanics. As a matter of fact, black people and Latinos are overrepresented in media, Hollywood, commercials. We had things like affirmative action, DEI, which is purposely meant to uplift brown and black Americans into roles that they don't deserve to be in. So we are actually very anti-racist. We are, however, racist against white and Asians in this country.
Yeah.
If you want to look at violent racism, we're actually the most racist towards Asian Americans. And the data says that violence is actually done by black Americans. So the most violence that's happening is black on Asian in terms of racism in this country. That's the uncomfortable truth. And the reality of all crime data is black on Asian violence is the biggest violence stemming from racism. And then if you want to look at the second biggest group of violence per capita, by the way, I'm not looking at just sheer numbers, right? I'm looking at per capita. It's going to be black on black crime. Then it's also going to be black on white crime. Those are the three most highest crimes per capita in this country. If you go overseas, though, to places like Philippines or Mexico, they don't have racism because it's all the same race. They have what's called colorism, which is a hierarchy based on skin color, even though you're all the same race. So you will see colorism in those countries. For example, in Mexico, all the poor countries, people have my skin, and all the poor areas, people have my skin color in Mexico. And all the rich areas have Steve's skin color.
But if you go to prison,
even
right,
though the funny thing is I'm super tan compared to how white I really am when I lived in Detroit still.
Well, I'm just saying you're whiter than I am.
No, I'm super white. I'm super white. If I didn't live in Hawaii,
he's like Dracula white.
I'd blind you. That's funny.
But
I was noticing too on a couple of your videos, Jeff, I believe his name's Jeff.
Yeah,
I used to follow him too. He's but I think he lost his channel or something, but
he's on YouTube still and X.
Okay, but yeah, basically, I was just asking because I used to be subscribed to him, and I think he lost his channel, so I'm guessing he started a new one. But
He lost his Facebook and he lost his Instagram.
God, that's crazy.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy's cool, man. I used to watch him a lot, and
He got me involved in the flag waves.
oh, did he? Oh, right on.
Yeah, he got me involved, and you know, I love waving flags with him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. Really cool dude.
Yep.
But here's another question about Trump that I don't know where it went with this, but I remember he was for the red flag laws. What's your like outtake on that? Because or what do you think about like the red flag laws? Because I think it's ridiculous. It shouldn't even be a thing.
So it's that this is where it starts to get complicated, right? Because if someone, for example, truly is mentally ill, like they have a true mental illness, then you would think that the common sense thing would be that they should not own a gun. But our Constitution doesn't say anything about the mentally ill not having guns. It says shall not be infringed. So according to the Constitution, the mentally ill are entitled to have guns. As long as they're American citizen, right? It's what the Constitution says, shall not be infringed. So it's really, really challenging. And then you have like felons. Felons are not supposed to have guns either, right?
Right.
But shall not be infringed. So I don't know what the solution is there. I really don't. Because I would tend to agree with someone who's mentally ill should not own a gun. Someone who's homicidal, suicidal, psychotic should not own a gun.
Well, I agree with that.
Or have access to one.
Or have access to one.
Right.
But like if they're an American citizen, I guess it's their right, their constitutional right to have one.
Just don't go on their lawn, you know, and run if they come out the door.
So like what are the rules? Like you can have a gun, but you can't leave your home. Like you can't leave the property. Well, law-abiding citizens might agree with that, but then someone who's will break the law doesn't give a fuck. So now you have a mentally ill person who has a gun who's going to break the law. Like, so what's the solution?
Right. Well, see, that's my thing, because like my outlook on the red flag law is basically it's like a hearsay. So if my ex-girlfriend knows I own firearms and she's pissed at me because I dumped her, and all she has to do is be like, yeah, Steve Harloha, you know, he's got 3 guns and he's freaking crazy. And then they're just going to be like, well, she said he's crazy, so he must be crazy. And it's like, no, I might be crazy, but I'm not mentally insane.
She'd have to prove that. She'd have to prove that, though, right?
My understanding, red flag law, she doesn't. It's just hearsay. But that's just I'm not saying that's what it is. I don't know. I'm trying to educate myself at the same time. I'm trying to learn something. So that's why I'm bringing it up.
I feel like if someone does that and they file a false red flag, then they should be the receiver of the punishment once it's determined that they lied. You know, kind of like if a woman, let's say a woman sleeps, like let's say she gets drunk, he gets drunk, they're both drunk, and they have sex, and she wakes up and she regrets it, right? He didn't rape her, but she just regrets it. Goes to the police and files a rape because, you know, which does happen a lot. And it gets determined that he didn't rape her. She should now receive the punishment that he would have received if he did rape her to prevent that from happening. Once it's proven, that's determined, they texted afterwards. She gave him the number afterwards. He got an Uber home afterwards. Like he did all the things that a gentleman would do afterwards, that there was no rape. You know, there's video camera of her hugging him goodbye after everything. That's like, no, there was no rape. But she did that. Then she should be receiving the punishment of a rape charge for doing that. Or, for example, if someone does a swatting on someone's home and it's determined to be illegal, they should receive the punishment of what they're alleging.
And also have to pay for it, you know, pay for the whatever it costs the department to do that.
Yeah, or exactly something like that. You know, I mean that's what I think. I also I get a little extreme with my made up laws in my head. When it comes to abortion, the law that I made up in my head is if a woman has an elective abortion, that's the key word, elective. Okay, meaning she's choosing to have an abortion just because she doesn't want the baby, not for a medical reason, not for a fetal abnormality. Her life's not in danger. She just got pregnant because she got drunk and doesn't want the baby anymore. She should never be allowed to be mother ever again. She gives up her right to motherhood after that. If she aborts a baby simply on the basis of not wanting that baby, or simply because she doesn't think she can have to give that baby a proper life, she should never be allowed to be mother again. Because what she's proven is when times are tough, she will destroy her unborn child. So who's not to say that when the baby's born and her life goes a little sideways, she will not also kill the baby again? Who's to say? Who's to say? So that's one of my extreme laws.
That one's on fire.
But
No,
again, I want to make clear for elective abortions only.
Right.
And not if the woman's a minor. So if like a 15-year-old, gets raped and gets knocked up, I can actually justify her having an abortion. I could in my head, because it's a child having a child. I can understand that one scenario. I'd still prefer for the baby not to be aborted, because you don't neutralize a rape with a murder of a child. But I can wrap my head around a minor child having an abortion and not being penalized for that. But I can't understand a woman who's above 18 who knows the repercussions of casual sex, could be getting pregnant, and then just choosing to murder her own baby. That I can't get behind. Or let's say her boyfriend breaks up with her, and her getting back at the boyfriend by killing his baby. That I can't.
Oh,
ooh,
yeah, that's
which does happen. It's on Reddit. You see it all the time.
That's tough.
So those type of people who have abortions, in my opinion, or even a man, let's say a father forces his wife to get an abortion, that also I think should be penalized as well. I think the man should be penalized too for that, because if you have sex, step up, be accountable, be responsible. Wear a condom, or abstain, or pull out correctly.
right. That's what. See, because I can always, I don't know. I know a lot of people say that
you want to be with, these things won't happen. If you only sleep with women that you think could be the good mother of your children, then you don't have to worry about this happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because I know a lot of people will say like, oh, I'm open-minded, but then when things come down to it, I can like see that same person going, well, no, that's but that's why I enjoy doing this too, because I mean, I understand where you're coming from with all of that. And basically like with everything, I'm not agreeing, but I'm not disagreeing. You know what I mean?
Well, some people use abortion as like birth control.
That's what I'm saying. That's my issue.
Constantly,
exactly,
and repeatedly birth control, because they just don't give a shit, and that's wrong.
There are, how many babies have been killed from abortion? Almost 70 million so far since Roe v. Wade. That's genocide. That's actual real genocide. Of all of those babies, what percentage of them were aborted for fetal abnormalities, life of the mother in danger, rape, or incest? Maybe, and I'm being generous here, maybe 1 million of them. Maybe 1 million of them. And of those million, I can get behind it and go, I can understand why they made a decision. I can understand, and I can even justify why 1 million of those abortions had to happen. I can actually go, I don't fully blame you for that one. But it's 69 million that I'm like, that was wrong and you're sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for me when it comes to the like, shit. I banged that dude 2 months ago, and
wait, you banged a dude?
Right. And like when the chick's saying that, like you
haven't. You
haven't.
No.
But and then they're just like you were saying, Dave, that's just their plan B or whatever. Like, oh, I gotta go get another abortion because I hooked up with that dude 2 months ago. And it's like, no, that's irresponsible.
I think you have the right to not use my tax dollars for something I don't agree with. I think I should have the ability to have a choice where my tax dollars go too.
Yeah, what if when taxes the government's like, here is your tax bill. Let's say it's $20,000. You get to choose where you want the money to go. Can you imagine that? They give you a checklist of like things you can put the money towards, and you could put like 5,000 education, 5,000 pro-life, 5,000 U.S. border. Can you imagine if we could do that? That would be really cool.
You could put 5,000 in that pothole that busted my tire twice.
You know what? I
ruined
think,
my rim
I think that
once.
would solve a lot of problems in the U.S.
No, I like that.
Because then
It
you would be
would.
like, you'd be like, you would know exactly what you're paying for.
Right.
So it wouldn't piss you off as much, right? Like if I saw tax dollars going towards Planned Parenthood, I wouldn't be like, those are not my tax dollars. I'm not paying for that shit.
Right. That's so true. That would.
I personally don't want any of my money going to Ukraine right now.
Well, imagine if we had my solution. You could literally say, I have given 0 to Ukraine. And your neighbor might say, well, I've given 50,000 to Ukraine. Good for you. I don't care.
Well, that's what you enjoy to do. Do it.
Correct.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the whole part of freedom, right? I want to do what the fuck I want to do. Leave me alone. And this is what I'm doing with it. And
then imagine the government gave you an itemized receipt of where your $5,000 went.
Right. Yeah.
Imagine
that's a great idea.
See where our taxes went. Oh my God. Just imagine.
That would solve. Yeah.
That would solve 90% of the problems in this country overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Overnight. Guarantee it.
Yeah, but then we get back to the zero accountability. So someone would probably take advantage of that system as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
But
man,
cool topic.
I like that. That's gonna stick in my head. I like that. That's a great idea.
I also think go ahead.
I'd feel better. I'd feel way better if I okay, this percentage is going here that you requested it to go, and then here's your detailed invoice or receipt or whatever. Boom. I know where my money went.
Yeah.
So Adam, are you still going out on the street? And I haven't been to your website lately, but
I do it 2-3 days a week. I do street interviews.
Okay, I'm gonna come check it out. Everyone check him out, man. It's got some cool videos.
I got
I love
the link
New
to
York one.
The link to his channel is pinned at the top, and I'll drop it in here again in the chat.
Thank you.
But it's also pinned at the top. So,
and if you guys want
like I said, I've been subscribed to Adam when I think he had like less than 10,000 subscribers when I first subscribed to you.
We're getting towards 100K. I'm pretty happy about that. I want that plaque.
Nice.
Yeah. I know, man. It's dude, I hope you get it soon, man. You're at what you're
it should happen before the election. I mean, I've been looking at my data, and I'm growing at anywhere between 300 to 500 subs a day, it seems like.
Wow.
So it should happen in the next 4 months. And that'll be really awesome. But I just wanted to remind your audience that if they wanted to support my battle against kidney failure, because you guys know I'm not working right now, it's givesendgo.com/Adam Francisco. And I appreciate all donations because that's what keeps me going. And if you have extra money in your paycheck and you want to give $5 to support the fighting for Trump and the Constitution on the street, I really do appreciate that.
So where's that link located? Can we grab that?
It's on my where can you find that? I don't have it pinned anywhere. It's just givesendgo.com/Adam Francisco. Super easy to memorize.
You said it so fast I can't catch up.
I got it, Dave.
You got it? Okay, man.
Yeah, givesendgo.com.
Givesendgo. Okay.
Yeah, .com/Adam Francisco.
All right.
Yeah, they're better than GoFundMe because they actually don't ban conservatives. It is a Christian faith-based platform. So they do prayer calls every week. They believe in Jesus. They believe in prayer. I'm not even Christian or Catholic, but I'm always going to stand with my Christians because I think people that are God-fearing are the side you want to be on in a spiritual war. That's the bottom line.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't want to be with these godless, Satanist sex addicts that are which is what I used to be on the left. I used to be that.
Right. That's crazy that you answered that question before I even asked it earlier. and wow, that threw me, blew my hair back when you said wow.
You know, the problem was like I was going to mention this earlier. Like, you know, we were talking about the castle and how like he probably wants to upgrade. Like, you always want to upgrade and get more and more and more. Like, that's the problem I had when it came to dating. Is I would always date these like amazing women, beautiful,
Mhm.
in their mid-20s, you know, financially independent. Some of them were traditional, and I was always looking to upgrade constantly. I had women that were like, they worshipped me, like they treated me like a freaking king. They cooked for me, they brought me coffee, they took care of me, they took interest in my interests. They met my friends, they were willing to be my family. I never cared because I was just like, I want better. I want to get an even hotter, younger girl. Every time I had that mindset. And
Dude.
when I got sick early on in my diagnosis back in June of 2022, when I was days away from death, I was going through more pain than I could even describe in my life, like physically. That there were days where I was just begging for help, crying in my apartment, just begging for help because I had no one except for me and my dogs. And I'm sorry, but my dogs can't drive me places. They can't get medication for me. They can't do anything, right? In terms of help me out for real, like in physical tasks. So now I'm waiting to get the transplant. I want to get jacked again. I want to get tattoos to cover up my scars from the surgeries. And once I'm back to being like a badass again, and I'm more desirable than I am now, and I do have a girlfriend again, man, I'm going to cherish that girl. And I'm not going to look to upgrade anymore. Like when I choose the next girlfriend I have, I'm hoping that it's going to be the mother of my child. And I'm going to be thankful for that person. I'm not going to be like thinking about upgrading anymore like I used to. Like my entire mindset on a lot of these topics have changed. Like once I get that kidney, I'm going to treat that woman like a freaking queen, because if she's the mother of my child, I know from watching other marriages and seeing other relationships, if you treat your wife like a goddess and you keep her happy, right? And you keep her like, you know, that you love her, then she's going to do the same for you, and your marriage is going
Right.
to, and then your kid's going to be happier.
Absolutely,
Like,
man.
That's
And
the
you know
dream.
what? And dude, I don't know how old you are, but
40.
I'm 48.
I'm 40.
What's that? 40? Okay, right on. Because I'm 48, and I was. You can ask Dave. We've known each other since we were like 9 years
We
old.
both were, man.
I was that guy that said I will never settle down. I'll never get married, because it was, every week, it was the Monday. I don't want to say the word, but Monday girl, Tuesday girl, Wednesday. It's just like always something new. And then I met my beautiful wife, and all that changed. And I wish I would have met her 20 years ago instead of almost 10
Well,
years ago.
although you could argue that if you met her 20 years ago, you might not have sowed your oats. So
Yeah, that's true. That's
you might have
true.
woken up one day being like, I want to try something new because I never got to do it.
Right.
You know, that's what happened to me. Is I had a girlfriend in my late 20s. She was virtually perfect on paper. But then I started making a lot of money while I was dating her. And then I started thinking like, wow, I could actually like be that pimp that I wanted to always be. I could, not literal pimp, guys. I meant like a playboy.
Right.
Be that playboy
yeah.
I wanted to be. And so I needed to go out around the world and live that lifestyle to know that, like, while it is fun and it does have its purpose in the short term, it's not as fulfilling as what I would imagine, having kids and having a mother of your children and like, going through that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to moving to Asia and finding that with whoever, she's going to be. I assume she's alive right now. She's probably alive. She's not going to be that much younger than me. Because I'm 40, so she's, she'll be in her 20s probably. And, start having kids.
So what kind of content would you put out if you did go back?
So I would still do podcasts, keeping in touch with them, because I really do think Barron Trump is going to be the next president at some point. I think that
I never even thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
our days of waving a Trump flag are not over after this election. Because a lot of people say to me, what are you going to do when this election ends? So let's say Trump wins, we get 4 years, 2028. I think it'll be Vivek or DeSantis. So by that time, I should already have a kid. I do want to run for office, by the way. So in 2028, I'll probably run for office, if not 2032. So I'll be a politician at some point. I feel like. And
we need good ones.
so I think I'll be a politician at some point. So that'd be cool. But I really do think Barron Trump is going to be a president. He's going to run it for office at some point.
Yeah, I never even thought of that. I never thought of that.
But automatically get. Not only will I jump on board the Barron Trump train, not only will you guys jump on the Trump train again, but he will automatically get all of the MAGA supporters back. He'll reactivate MAGA. He'll use Make America Great Again. Right? Our kids will probably be Trump supporters too. So Barron Trump will be that cross-generational Trump trained MAGA America First politician.
And it makes sense because he was born into it. I remember in 2016 when Trump was making a speech when he first became president. I remember watching it right here on that TV. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah, I knew he was going to win, but I was like, wow, I can't believe he really won. And I remember Barron just like standing there, but, trying not to fall asleep. But he was, so he was basically born into it. So who better? Right?
There was also a book. This is like a little Jewish, let's be honest. This is a little Jewish. But there was a book from like the 1800s.
Yep.
About a boy.
I looked into that.
And that boy's name in the book was Barron Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think that he was always predicted to be, some kind of world leader at some point. So I do think we have Ivanka, we have Eric Trump, we have Trump Jr., we have Barron Trump. We have 4 Trumps that can carry the mantle forward in the future at some point. So I think this thing has legs. I think we have the rest of our lifetimes to be Trump supporters, to be honest. And so I will launch a new YouTube channel when I get to the Philippines. It'll be a travel channel. So you're going to see a whole new type of video from me where I don't mention politics at all. It's just going to be like my life traveling, trying food. And I'd like to think that I could transfer at least 25% of my audience over to that platform. So that one should 15,000 subscribers once I just kicking things off, And I'll still do podcasts like I do with you right now. I'll still do podcasts so I could stay in pulse of U.S. politics. But my other idea is to do weekly get-togethers with Americans in the Philippines and still do street interviews, but in the Philippines. So have Americans meet me at like a coffee shop or at a restaurant. I'll get everyone the food. Right. And then right outside the restaurant, I'll be like, all right, let's do quick street interviews. Because we'll all still be plugged into politics and it'll still be Americans talking about it. So I can still do political street content, but in the Philippines, and then push people over and say, you want to know where I was this video? Go check out my travel channel.
So what kind of food are we talking about, man?
Well, real quick on the travel channel, the travel channels, you'll have no problem.
They do well.
Even if only 5% of your viewers now go to that, you're going to have a ton.
I won't be shadow banned, so I won't have to be censored and always fighting the censorship. And secondly, I'll grow faster. I'll have no shadow ban. And third, YouTube will probably promote my content because that's the kind of stuff they want. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the travel channels, man, they're huge. Because I mean, my Nina, my wife, that's travel, van life, all that. I mean, we're planning on doing the van life thing in travel. So we'll be both travel channels.
You guys,
in the near future.
Me traveling post transplant is going to be so fucking epic, because there's going to be a story there that I was locked down in my home for 1.5, 2 years, couldn't travel, got my transplant, and now I'm fucking back. So that's going to be what the travel channel is going to be about, a guy that's on a post-transplant that is back to the way things were, and you get to see round 2 of him traveling the world. And also it's going to be partial dating show, because as I'm going out dating, meeting these women, because I'm going to date a lot when I get back to Asia. I'm not just going to instantly find my girlfriend. That's not how it's going to work. I'm going to have to go.
Well, I don't know.
Right? Until I find the one. And so all these different women who I'm going to be dating until I find the one, they're going to be featured in my videos. They're going to be my co-hosts. They're going to be my channel. And then one day I'm going to find this girl that's going to be different than the rest. And then my audience will kind of get to come along in that journey as I meet her. And then we get pregnant. Now they're on that journey. So now I'm traveling with a pregnant woman. And then all of a sudden, now I have a kid. And now they're on that. Now they're having a kid with me, and now
Sign me up.
I'm a
I
dad
want
blog.
to subscribe. I want to watch this.
And so people like Steve can literally be like, I remember this kid when he was just this political guy. Now look at him, he's doing dad blogging. So there's a storyline and there's a funnel that you can push people down when it comes to YouTube. That you don't lose the YouTube, you still keep them involved in your life. But the key is, and I'm telling you this right now, because Steve, you're a YouTuber, the key is to make sure you develop a relationship with your people. You know, try to answer your messages, you try to address questions, you try to do all these things because that's when they're going to take an interest, you know, in your life.
Yeah. The only thing I have to disagree with is you can't necessarily say that you're not going to go meet your wife right away because fate is fate. So
well, I mean,
you might meet her on the first date. I
might. No, you're right. I could go there, go on a date with some super hot chick who's like perfect for me, and I might just instantly be like, you know what, you're the one. It's very possible. You're absolutely right.
That's what happened to me. I mean, I wasn't even looking for love. I wasn't even looking to fall in love, to be honest. And I love you, Nina. I love you, baby. But I wasn't looking for love. It just happened. It was just, I knew the minute I sat down.
Looking for love.
Bro, I was just looking for a good cook.
Oh, bro, telling you, man.
That's all I wanted was a good cook.
That's really important too.
Yes.
Just go make me turkey pot pie.
That's right.
But no, dude, that's awesome, man. I can't wait. I will definitely be subscribed to that channel, man, because that's a great channel.
Thank you.
Well, and we're gonna go on with your journey on your kidney and all that stuff too.
And one of the other questions I had that you already answered too was about any kids, but you already answered that part. And I think that's awesome that you want to, you know, plant the seed and keep your legacy going, basically, because that's what a legacy is, right? Like people you leave behind. I mean,
you know, in 2017, I did get a girl pregnant, and she was from Venezuela. You know, she was a beautiful girl. Oh my God, smoke show, and we got along great. And had that happened to me today, I probably would have offered to marry her if that same situation happened today, but it didn't happen in 2017. And I was still a liberal at the time. She was a liberal. But when she got pregnant with my baby, I said to her, I said, you know, I was adopted and I was given a chance. So it would be really hypocritical of my own existence to support you aborting this baby. I said, so how about you don't abort the baby and I'll raise the child on my own. And she was 26 at the time, and she was like, no, I'm too young. And I was just like, I'm not too young. I have the money. I have the time. I'm about to quit my job anyway. So why don't you just give me the baby? And I never offered her marriage. For some reason, it didn't even come across my head. Never even thought about it. And then she ended up aborting the baby. And that's when I became extremely pro-life. It was from that experience, because I really started thinking about it. And I realized, like, me being adopted, why would I not support adoption over abortion? And then when I thought about, like, that being half my DNA in her belly, I was like, why don't I have any rights here? But again, she was international. She wasn't American. So, you know, there really was not an issue of American law there. It was just two people. And, you know, she wanted to abort it, so she did. And it destroyed me for about 3 years. Every time I would get too drunk, I would cry for about 3 years over the loss of that child. And, you know, eventually I got over it, but it did break me for 3 years. It was really hard for me to deal with the loss of that baby. And, you know, that made me pro-life. That single experience has made is why I'm a pro-life advocate.
Man. Wow.
That's great. Yeah, because, man, for me, it's like kind of the opposite, because I have my son is 31 years old. My daughter is. Was that?
How old are you?
48. I was 16 when I had him, or I didn't have him.
Holy
His mom had him, but
I was in the same room.
Yeah, he was in the same room when my son was conceived.
Wait, you were 16 and now you're kid. That's crazy. I'm 40 trying to have my first kid, and you're 48 and 31-year-old.
Wait.
31, and then my daughter is 16 and driving. They both have different moms, but my thing is, I've been told, and from quite a few different women that their child is mine, and one of them I do believe for sure. And but they just never said nothing. They had the kid. They were with another guy, after she conceived the kid, and then ended up being with that guy. And so they're like, as far as he's concerned, that's his dad. I'm like, I don't want to ruin any kid's life.
How many kids do you think you have?
That's my thing. I don't know. I mean, I know for a fact 3, but only two of them.
But I think 0.
But two of the 3 know that I'm their dad. The third one, his dad is his dad. I'm not trying to ruin any kid's life by then his mom's the liar all this time, and it's just and he's successful. He's a veteran now. He's also 31 or 30. But the funny thing about that is my son, Damon, was talking about his friend that he just met. This was like 10 years ago. And he's like, yeah, my buddy Tyler. And the funny thing too is my son's middle name is Tyler. And this Tyler kid is the third kid.
Oh shit.
So, and I told Damon, I was like, well, Damon, you want to hear a good story? And he's like, what? I'm like, that's your brother, dude.
Half brother.
Your half brother.
Wow.
And he's like, dude, I knew we had so much in common. So
do they look a little similar?
They don't really look. I mean, you can see it if you look, but but yeah, just their
that's crazy.
Their character and their demeanor, and that's what I always. That's why I believe in the having both parents in the house, and I'm guilty of not being there, but that's why I believe having 2 parents in the house and being raised makes a huge difference on how your child turns out. Because like Tyler, he had his mom and his dad, and very, very successful, very good kid, respectful kid. And I mean, so is Damon, but I wasn't there, and his childhood was a little different, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, look at, Dave is like a perfect dad. He raises his kids and his grandkids amazing.
That's great to hear.
So
appreciate that, man. Hey, can I clarify something earlier that I said, by the way? When I said I was in the room with you when he was conceived, I was not involved in any way, by the way. I was in another room just in case my wife tries to kill me in my sleep.
We were at the same party.
Yeah.
We were at the same party.
Different rooms.
Awesome.
Yeah, he wasn't sitting there going, can I watch?
I was playing solitaire.
Oh, there you go.
But no, dude, but seriously though, man, I really hope you do find that one, and I hope you do plant a seed and bring another Adam Francisco into the world, man, because I think you're good people.
Thank you.
And I believe everyone has different beliefs, and but at the end of the day, everyone has more in common than they don't have in common. There's a lot of things that I didn't even bring up that would probably turn us into one of those drama shows, but I'm not about drama, so
we'll do that next
but
time.
I am open-minded. Yeah, we'll do it next time. Yeah.
And
I'll be like, I think this is bullshit, and we'll fight about it. But
I don't really fight about things. I just like to
right.
I like to bring up data. A lot of things that because I looked up data, and again, you can look up data on both sides of any argument.
William.
But I try to just use data to back up my points.
Right. No, and that's what I do too. And then I think with an open mind and then, but at the end of the day, I believe everyone has more in common than what they don't have in common. But nowadays it's just so easy for everyone to be like, you don't believe this? Fuck you. I can't be friends. And it's like, yeah, but what about the other 1,000 things that we do agree on? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do or don't agree on. It's just, are you a good person? And I think you're a good person. And I think that's how the whole world should actually open up their minds and think like, but that's just me, and nobody listens to me. So
I do.
Who said that?
Quarter of the time. I'm not here. Hey, Adam, it's been great.
Thank you, guys.
Getting to know you a little bit, man.
Thank you. Appreciate
Really
it. Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve, for having me on your show. And if anyone wants to follow me, I'm on YouTube, Adam Francisco, Instagram, Adam Francisco, TikTok, Adam Francisco, USA, and then X, Adam Francisco _.
Right on.
Bro.
And yeah, and if you want to hang out for a minute, we can chill backstage if you want for a little bit.
All right, let's do that.
If you're up to it. But so any final thoughts for anyone before we close it out?
God bless Trump.
Right on.
Last thought is everyone keep Adam in your prayers that the kidney comes through and everything goes well.
Thank you.
Amen. And all right. Well, with mine then, as always, have a beautiful morning, beautiful day, beautiful afternoon, a beautiful evening, a beautiful night, whatever it may be, wherever you are. Much love, much aloha. Most importantly, God bless.
My God, dude. I'm done. Oh, I'm sorry. I just died. I can't breathe. Steve, I swear to you, I haven't laughed that hard in like 10 years.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, no.
I'm again. I'm again.
I'm again.
When I
I'm a dumb nerd. Guess right after high school, ended up joining the army.
You guys seem way more chill than that intro. I'm ready to take your fucking country back. I don't even live there.
You do not apply your brake to merge.
Dude, we should get a boxing match going.
Smack the shit out of
Balls to the head. That sounded wrong. I had to highlight that one. Oh, my Lord.
and stay the hell out of the left lane if you're not passing.
You're so salty about this driving.
You don't have to have a massive channel to make an impact, you know.
I've learned a very important lesson through this video. Is to always keep your gerbil on a leash.
My dad was at the show, and I looked at my dad, and I'm like, fuck, do I drop the wheelchair jokes? He's like, just fuck them.
You know, that's what the whole freedom of speech is.
Then this old lady walks in with like a walker, and I look at him, and he goes, oh yeah, you're fucked.
You don't have to agree with it, absolutely not. But you best defend the right to do it.
Again.
It turns out she got hit by a drunk driver, and that's why she was in a wheelchair. And I opened my set about a whole bit about how drinking and driving rules.
You know, if they don't like it, then they don't have to be there.
It's a great way to just exercise your rights, because we got to teach these government nerds that all swear an oath to it what our freedoms are, because they're so lazy they don't care.
I had a fun night. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
To have a place for everyone to go to where they can just forget about life for a little bit and have fun. And,
you know, don't live on the past, or don't take the present for granted and only think about the future. You got to just have fun with life before it can't be fun anymore.
good or bad, everything happens for a reason.
People are wearing blinders. They don't understand what's going around.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, I'm guilty of inciting my constitutional right. Absolutely, every day.
Y'all take it easy. Love y'all. See y'all on the next one.
You know, you're never going to please everyone. Not everyone's ever going to like you. And just say what you want to say and fuck them all.
Much love to y'all. Stay prayed up, man. God is good. Love each other and be kind.
Much love, much aloha, and most importantly, God bless.